The leather is a bit thinner now. The edges of the pages have turned that soft golden color that only comes with years of touch and the passing of seasons. As we hold this old Bible in our hands, we might notice how heavy it feels, heavier than it used to when we carried it with such ease and excitement. There was a time when these pages felt like they were glowing, when every word seemed to jump out and speak directly to our hearts. We remember that version of ourselves, the one who woke up with a song and went to bed with a prayer that felt like a direct conversation. Now the room is quiet, the air is a bit still, and the weight of the book feels more like a reminder of what we think we've lost. We look at the highlighted verses and the notes in the margins, written in a hand that feels like a stranger's. It's a quiet ache, isn't it? That feeling that the fire has gone out, leaving only cool ash and a lot of questions. We wonder if we've broken something inside ourselves, or if the silence from the other side is a sign that we've drifted too far. It's hard to admit, even to the walls of an empty room, that our faith doesn't feel strong anymore. We carry a secret shame, pretending to be the person who wrote those notes years ago, while feeling like we're just holding onto a heavy piece of paper. Doubt does not disqualify us from love. There is a specific kind of exhaustion that comes from trying to feel something that isn't there. We see others who seem so sure, so vibrant in their belief, and we find ourselves retreating into the shadows. We think that if we can't bring that same intensity, maybe we don't belong in the light at all. We might even avoid opening the book altogether because the contrast between our current hollowness and those old memories is too painful to bear. It's okay to sit here in the dim light of the evening and just acknowledge that weight. We don't have to fix it tonight. We often think of faith as a mountain peak we have to stay on, but life usually happens in the long, flat stretches of the valley. In the valley, the views aren't as grand, and the air feels a bit thicker, and sometimes the path isn't clear at all. We might feel like we're just going through the motions, putting one foot in front of the other, without any sense of destination. This isn't a failure of our spirit. It's often just the reality of being human in a world that asks so much of us. We're tired, and when we are tired, our emotions are the first things to go quiet. And here's the part no one tells you. The silence isn't always a void. Sometimes the silence is just a different kind of presence, one that doesn't need words or high emotions to exist. We might be waiting for a lightning bolt, while the gentle hum of the refrigerator in the kitchen is the only sound we hear. We think the lightning is the only way to know we're heard, but the quiet hum is just as real. We are still here, and the love that found us in our brightest moments is still sitting here with us in the dark. Doubt does not disqualify us from love. When we look back at the stories of those who walked this path long before us, we see so much of ourselves in their hesitation. We think of the father who stood in the middle of a crowd, holding his hurting child, looking at the only hope he had left. He didn't come with a perfect confession or a heart full of certainty. He came with a heart that was breaking and a mind that was exhausted by disappointment. When he said those famous words, "I believe, help my unbelief," he wasn't being poetic. He was being honest. He was standing in that exact gap where we find ourselves today. He had a tiny seed of hope and a massive mountain of doubt, and he offered them both up at the same time. He didn't wait until the doubt was gone to ask for help. He understood, perhaps instinctively, that his weakness was not a barrier. It was the very place where the connection could finally become real. We don't have to wait until we feel strong to be loved. Before we go any further, this matters more than it sounds. We often believe that our relationship with the divine is based on our performance, on how loud we can sing or how long we can pray. But if we are children of a loving source, then our value isn't found in our energy levels. A parent doesn't stop loving a child because the child is too tired to talk or because the child is confused and grumpy. The parent simply stays in the room. They sit on the edge of the bed and wait for the morning. Doubt does not disqualify us from love. We might have spent years building a version of faith that was very loud and very busy. It was a faith of projects and meetings and constant growth. But now that we've slowed down, we feel like we've failed the curriculum. We look at the dust on the shelf and feel a pang of guilt. But what if this season isn't about doing less? What if it's about being known in a way that doesn't require us to do anything at all? What if the strong faith we remember was actually just a very busy season? And this weak faith is actually where the roots are starting to go deep. It's easy to trust when the sun is out and everything is going our way. It's much harder and much more profound to simply stay in the room when the lights are low. If you find yourself nodding along to this, if you feel that familiar ache of missing your younger, simpler self, maybe type the word doubt in the comments. It's a way of saying, I'm here too, and realizing that we are all sitting in this quiet room together. There is no pressure to explain why, just a shared recognition of the weight we carry. Doubt does not disqualify us from love. Think about the way the light changes in a room as the day goes on. In the morning, it's sharp and bright, hitting everything directly. By the afternoon, it's softer, stretching out into long shadows. By the evening, it's just a glow on the horizon. The light hasn't disappeared. It has just changed its character. Our faith often follows this same rhythm. We cannot expect the sharp morning light to last through the entire day of our lives. The evening glow is just as beautiful, even if it doesn't reveal as much detail. We often carry a false belief that our doubt is a sin or a sign of a hardened heart. We worry that if we stop feeling the presence, it means the presence has left us. But feelings are like the weather. They change based on the wind, the temperature, and the time of year. The ground beneath our feet, however, stays exactly where it is, regardless of whether it's raining or sunny. Our doubt is often just the clouds passing over the sun. The sun doesn't go anywhere just because we can't see it for a while. Doubt does not disqualify us from love. Let's try something simple together. Something that doesn't require any spiritual gymnastics. We can just sit where we are for a moment. We can feel the chair beneath us or the floor under our feet. We can notice the weight of our own hands resting in our lap. There's no need to find a deep thought or a holy feeling. We are just breathing. In this breath, we are alive. In this breath, we are being sustained by forces we didn't create and don't have to maintain. This is the simplest form of trust, just letting the next breath come. We don't need to apologize for being human. We don't need to say sorry for getting tired. We are built for cycles of rest and activity, for seasons of planting and seasons of waiting. If you are in a season of waiting, it doesn't mean the field is dead. It just means the work is happening underground, where no one can see it, not even you. Especially not you. The most important parts of our growth often happen when we feel the most stagnant. Doubt does not disqualify us from love. I want to tell you about someone we'll call Thomas, though he could be any of us. Thomas used to be the person who led the songs and stayed late to clean up after the service. He had a Bible full of highlights and a heart that felt like it was always on fire. But then a series of small, quiet losses piled up. A job that didn't work out. A friend who moved away. A prayer that seemed to go unanswered for too long. One day he realized he didn't want to go to the meetings anymore. Because he was angry, but because he was just empty. He felt like a fraud. Every time he saw a religious post online or heard a hymn, he felt a knot of shame in his stomach. He thought he had lost his way entirely. He spent a year just existing, doing his laundry, going to work, and sitting on his porch in the evenings. He stopped trying to force the fire back. He just sat in the quiet. And in that year, something strange happened. He started noticing the way the birds sounded in the morning. He started feeling a strange, quiet compassion for the people he worked with. He realized that his faith hadn't died. It had just changed shape. It had moved from his head and his vocal cords down into his hands and his feet. He wasn't on fire anymore, but he was steady. He was kind. He was present. He realized that he didn't need the intense feelings to be a person who was loved and who could love others. He found that the divine was much more interested in his presence than his performance. He was finally at peace with the silence. Doubt does not disqualify us from love. And here's the part no one tells you about stories like that. The shift doesn't usually happen with a big revelation. It happens in the mundane moments of a Tuesday afternoon. It happens when we realize that the world is still turning and we are still being held even when we have nothing to offer. We are allowed to be low power for as long as we need to be. There is no deadline for coming back to a place of vibrancy. The invitation is always open, and it never comes with a late fee. Let's talk about 3 small anchors we can drop into our lives this week. These aren't chores. They are just small ways to acknowledge the ground beneath us. The first is the practice of the grounded look. At some point in the next 24 hours, when you feel that wave of shame or distance, just stop and look at one physical thing in the room. A coffee mug, a leaf on a plant, the texture of a curtain. Just notice it for 10 seconds. Remind yourself that you are in a physical world that is loved, and you are a part of it. The second anchor is the one-word prayer. We don't need paragraphs. We don't need thee and thou. We just need one word. It could be help. It could be stay. It could even be why. Just whisper that one word into the space around you. Don't wait for an echo. Just let the word exist. It is a way of saying, I'm still here without the pressure of having to explain everything. One word is enough. Doubt does not disqualify us from love. The third anchor is the grace nap, or the grace walk. If your mind is racing with guilt about your faith, give yourself permission to either sleep or move your body without an agenda. Our spiritual health is deeply tied to our physical bodies. Sometimes the most spiritual thing we can do is give our nervous system a break. Take 20 minutes to just lie down or walk around the block and tell yourself, I am doing enough just by being. Before we go any further, this matters more than it sounds. Your worth is not a variable. It is a constant. In mathematics, a constant doesn't change regardless of what other numbers you put into the equation. Your zeal level can be 0, and the constant of your value remains exactly the same. We often try to calculate our worth based on our feelings, but the math of grace doesn't work that way. You are a fixed point in a heart that does not move. Doubt does not disqualify us from love. We often feel like we have to protect our faith, like it's a fragile glass ornament that might shatter if we drop it. But true faith, the kind that survives the long winters of the soul, is more like a massive rock. It doesn't need us to protect it. It's there to support us. We can throw our questions at it. We can sit on it when we're tired. We can even turn our backs on it for a while. When we turn back around, the rock will still be there. It doesn't break. It doesn't move. If you're feeling that distance today, I want you to know that it's okay. You aren't falling away. You might just be settling in. The frantic energy of a new belief often has to settle so that something more durable can grow. It feels like losing something, but it might actually be gaining a foundation. You are allowed to be quiet. You are allowed to be unsure. You are allowed to hold that old Bible and feel its weight without having to read a single word. Doubter does not disqualify us from love. What is one small thing that brought you a tiny bit of peace today? It doesn't have to be something religious. Maybe it was a good cup of tea, or the way the sunlight hit the floor, or a kind word from a stranger. I'd love to read about those small glimpses of peace in the comments. When we share these tiny anchors, we help each other realize that the light is still leaking into the world, even in the most ordinary ways. It's a way for us to walk alongside each other. We are so used to being told to strive and seek and knock. And those things have their place. But there is also a time to just be. To be the one who is found. To be the one who is sought. To be the one who is greeted at the door. If you don't have the strength to knock today, just lean against the door. Someone on the other side knows you're there. They aren't waiting for you to find the right words. They're just glad you're leaning. Doubt does not disqualify us from love. As we sit here, let's take one more slow breath together. Feel the air fill your lungs and then let it go completely. You don't have to hold on to anything. The world will keep spinning. The stars will keep their places. The love that started this whole story isn't going to let a little bit of human exhaustion get in the way. You are safe in the silence. You are seen in the shadows. You are known in the doubt, the weight of that old Bible in your hands. It's not a weight of judgment. It's a weight of history. It's the weight of millions of people who felt exactly like you do right now. People who doubted, who wandered, who went silent for years, and who eventually found that they were never actually alone. The worn pages are a testament to the fact that this journey is long and messy and rarely follows a straight line. You are right where you need to be. Doubt does not disqualify us from love. Think about a tree in the winter. If you didn't know any better, you'd think it was dead. It has no leaves, no fruit, and it doesn't seem to be doing anything but shivering in the cold. But we know that inside the tree is pulling its energy deep into its core. It is surviving. It is preparing. It is resting because it has to. You are in your winter, and that is not a flaw in your design. It is a necessary part of your rhythm. The spring will come when it's ready, not when you force it. Until then, be gentle with yourself. If you can't pray, just breathe. If you can't believe, just hope. If you can't hope, just stay. Staying is a form of faith too. It's the faith of the one who remains at the table even when the food hasn't been served yet. It's a quiet, stubborn kind of trust that says, I don't see it yet, but I'm not leaving. That kind of trust is incredibly precious. Doubt does not disqualify us from love. We often think that the greats of faith were people who never wavered. But if you read their journals, you find a lot of dark nights. You find a lot of, where are you, and why is it so quiet? Their greatness wasn't in their certainty. It was in their persistence. They kept showing up to the silence until the silence began to feel like a friend. We are in good company. We are part of a long lineage of honest doubters. Before we finish our time together, I want to remind you that this companionship doesn't end when the audio stops. If this resonated with you, I'd love for you to join us here regularly. Subscribing or liking isn't about numbers. It's about building a small corner of the internet where it's okay to be tired and okay to be honest. We're just a group of people sitting in the evening light trying to remember what's true. Doubt does not disqualify us from love. We are coming back to that room now. The one where we started holding that old book with the worn edges. The light has faded a bit more and the room is even quieter. But notice how the weight of the book doesn't feel quite so much like a burden anymore. It's just a book. And you are just you. And the space between you and the divine isn't a gap to be bridged by your effort. It's a space already occupied by a love that has no conditions. You can put the book back on the shelf now, or you can keep holding it. It doesn't change your standing. You can turn off the light and go to sleep, knowing that the work of being loved is being done for you, even while you dream. Your heart can rest. Your mind can be still. The questions will still be there tomorrow, but they don't have to be answered tonight. Doubt does not disqualify us from love. Doubt does not disqualify us from love. Doubt does not disqualify us from love. Sleep well or go about your day with a light heart. You're not lost. You're just traveling through a quiet stretch of the road. We are right here with you, and we'll be here next time too. Just stay. Just be. You are enough exactly as you are, with all your questions and all your silence.